This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, so I've been working on some kind of Eric Johnson Helix, which is, you know, completely out of the ordinary for me because I'm not an Eric Johnson fan. But I actually, of course, I am an Eric Johnson fan if you're new to the channel. Probably one of my favourite guitarists and one of my favourite kind of lead players. But I've historically not really used actual elements of his gear when trying to get a tone sort of close. So today I wanted to kind of revisit that, and there's some blocks that I don't normally use, like the Chandler tube driver, the Plexi, and using some images of his actual gear, I kind of thought this kind of got pretty close. So anyway, at the very front of this we've got a bit of a noise gate on because otherwise you'll probably find it'd be quite noisy. Although that's not too bad. Oh yeah, it is. So we've got that on just to keep things a bit tidier. Then my first block is the valve driver. Now my settings are a little bit different to what I've seen Eric actually using. Eric has the bass and treble all the way off, and the gain and the volume, he has them about halfway. I've decided to kind of juice it up a little bit because I know that for the recording of Venus Isle, he used to use a preamp, which actually, the mic preamp had a little bit of gain on it. I think it was a kind of cheaper preamp and he got laughed at for using it, but it was part of his tone. So yeah, the gain and the level were a little bit higher than he would have, and I've also added in a bit of extra bass just to get it kind of getting on that little edgy fuzz thing. The amp model that I've used is the Brit Plexi Jump. Now he uses 50 watt plexis as well as 100 watt plexis sometimes, and more recently apparently he's using the PRS Hendrix 20 amp, which is bizarre, but that apparently is the case. Anyway, the drive pretty much all the way up, 9.510. You can experiment from this tone, obviously. The bass I've got at 3.6, which is the upper end of what he tends to use, I think. The mid's down at 3, the treble off, and the channel volume here at 6, the presence at 2, master volume at 10, and I've not touched the other settings. Now, there's an optional low-high shelf here, but I felt like listening to Venus Isle, probably I didn't need it. What that's effectively doing is just thickening it up, giving it even more heft. I'm using my own IR here that I've created out of 2 other IRs. Just using this because that means that I can then transfer over to the Podgo. If you guys are on Podgo, then you can also dial in this tone or grab the Gumroad link and I'll put it in there once I get a chance. I've got the high cut really aggressive at 2.7. Without this, you'll hear it doesn't really do the thing. All the way down at 2.7 though, and it's considerably darker. And to me a little bit closer to doing the thing. Now in terms of delay and stuff like that, I'm not exactly sure what might be the best option for this. However, I've got dual delay 375, 500, left feedback 71, right feedback 62, left mix 25, right mix 25, high cut off, and vibrato mode depth 22, spread 7.1, trails on. The other thing that you could consider doing, maybe, I don't know if I've got this here in my favorites. I may have my own kind of glitz settings. Let's see if these get us. Okay, yeah, I think that probably works a bit better, although it is probably a little bit too wet, but get... there are some albums where he's got a bit of a drier tone, but for me, Venus Isle is the perfection where he's fully embracing the kind of wet thing. Decay 5.1, pre-delay 1, low cut off, high cut at 15.5, mix 16 or 17 or 18, somewhere around that. Delay 64, rate 1.84, depth 3.8, crossover 900, mod mix 5, trails I've got off, but I'll put them on just in case. And that's kind of... I don't know, I think that might be a little bit closer than I've got in the past. Give that a try, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Gumroad is the place to grab this if you've not already, and I'll chuck this into the folder. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers for stopping by.